Get ready.
You're listening to JoshCast.
Starring
The next meeting coming to the stage is Joshua. What's his name?
Jackson, right?
Josh.
Josh, next meeting is from the regular.
Ladies behind me, raping, punch spewing, and just a good, but sensitive lover. Whoever. Yes. He is classy, he is funny. I warned you guys. He was classy. He's a regular guy. AIDS.
I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and I am so sick of all you niggas out there talking shit about my comedy, saying that I'm not funny. Fuck you niggas. I know how to rap. You want to hear me rap? Listen to me spit. George, listen to me spit. What's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I know how to rap. You ever notice? I'm so damn funny. If it wasn't for Larry David, I wouldn't make any money. Watch my new B movie. I'm gonna be rich. Get it? Be rich? Suck my Jewish dick. That is cursed. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. This is my rap. What's the deal with rap? What are they gonna curse? They said a good word. Who do you tell you first? Michael Richards said nigger. Black people got mad, reacted like niggers. Oops, I said nigger. Oh well, I don't really care who gets mad. Cause no matter what I say, you will laugh. You ever notice when people laugh, a big giant fart comes out their ass? The worst part of Halloween is little black kids get free candy to feed their family. And why the rappers have to shoot each other? Come on, well brothers, have a black and white cookie. Remember that episode that woman in the coffee shop thought me and George was gay? That's so great. Everyone wants to be me. Now buy Seinfeld Season 9 on DVD. What's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I know how to rap. You ever notice? I'm so damn funny. If it wasn't for Larry David, I wouldn't make any money. Watch my new B movie. I'm gonna be rich. Get it? Be rich? Suck my Jewish dick. That is cursed. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. This is my rap. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. Hey everybody, throw your hands up. Pretend you're a bee and throw your wings up. Ladies, shake that ass and throw your hands up. Why do people at parties throw their hands up? Does that mean they're having fun? Stupid fucks. My wife has a cookbook about vegetables, but I really don't like it when she sucks a black man's testicles. Now she has sickle cell. That's a disease. You nigga loving bitch, stay the fuck away from me. I'm really not racist. Puerto Ricans kill people, and they do a lot of things that are illegal. They're just bad people. What do you want? The lady that played Elaine on the show was a cunt. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I made careers. Ever since the show's over, she just disappeared. What's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I know how to rap. You ever notice? I'm so damn funny. If it wasn't for Larry David, I wouldn't make any money. Watch my new B movie. I'm going to be rich. Get it? Be rich? Suck my Jewish dick. It is cursed. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. This is my rap. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. Hey everybody, throw your hands up. Pretend you're a bee and throw your wings up. Ladies, shake that ass and throw your hands up. In my new bee movie, the bees can speak. It's going to be #1 for 15 weeks. What's the deal with bees? When I think they hurt, I make millions of dollars. I don't have to work. I have tons of commercials all over the world. So what if I fuck this 17-year-old girl? She said she was 15. The bitch lied. So what if I fucked the girl that was in junior high? You gotta get her wise fresh before she has her period. A lot of people have to take this serious. When new movie's coming out, you have to see it then. I'm fucking Jerry Seinfeld, the rap big comedian. What's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I know how to rap. You ever notice? I'm so damn funny. If it wasn't for Larry David, I wouldn't make any money. Watch my new B movie. I'm going to be rich. Get it? Be rich? Suck my Jewish dick. It is cursed. Not there's anything wrong with that. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. This is my rap. This song cannot not be funny. Cause I admit it. I am Jerry Seinfeld. This beat is gangsta. What's the deal with being gangsta? These kids talk funny nowadays. What's good? I'll tell you what's good. Homework, young man. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, so this is the second interview I'm doing. This is the first one I'm doing with a comedian. So what is your name?
Darren Martinez.
Darren Martinez. And have we met before?
Yes, we have.
Oh yeah, that's right. I called into this shit. So how did you get the comedy bug? What made you decide to go on stage and start doing jokes, and why do you want to be a comedian?
Well, I guess I've always liked telling jokes, and I've always liked writing comedy. I've always liked performing. So it was only a matter of time before I put all those together. I originally went to college for theater, and I studied, trying to become an actor for a while, and joined an improv troupe. I was part of an improv troupe for about a year and a half, and we did shows with stand-up comedians who would headline our shows. And at the end of the shows, usually we chat with the stand-up comedians. And I remember one guy, Keith Purnell, once said to me, he was like, "You know what, man?" He's like as if he saw something in me. He was like, "You know what? I want to kind of show you the ropes of stand-up," and I never took advantage of that. And years passed, and then eventually, I wanted to get into stand-up. I was serious about it, and now it just kind of sucks that I never took advantage of that situation back then. But
right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I started when I was 23, which I guess is, I would say, the average age when somebody starts out. But there's guys, you should feel okay about it, because there's guys that are starting that are like 48, 45, and unfortunately they've waited so long that they can't even do it as a profession, because now they have kids and they're married to some fat wife, and they they can't really do it. So it's sometimes it's not too late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm only 28, so.
Yeah, and you look, for those who are listening to this, all 5 people, you kind of look younger, because you're very skinny. You have glasses. You kind of look like my age, like 20, 22, 23, but you're really 28 years old. You look.
Yeah, no, I usually get the age range of actually, I even got 17 before, not too long ago. So I thought I was still in high school.
That's
okay.
That works when you want to, do some pedophile type stuff, which I'm,
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to do birthdays and bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, so that next time I pull over and I say, "Hey, look, I got a Barbie in my back seat," maybe jump in. Trust me.
Yeah, so you must be really nervous doing this interview. I mean, there's going to be 4 or 5 people listening to this. That's really a lot of pressure for a new comedian.
That's 4 or 5 more people that ever listened to me in my life.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
So you're, I only seen you perform about maybe 4 or 5 times, and you have a lot of, you're just starting out. You have about, you said 10, 15 minutes of material, but a lot of it is about being Puerto Rican, being Hispanic and stereotypes and stuff like that. Are you a big fan of racial humor? What's your favorite type of humor that really makes you laugh, as far as stand-up goes?
You know what? It's I'm all over the board here, because I kind of got into stand-up, with my dad and watching all his favorites. And one of his favorites was Rodney Dangerfield, king of the one-liners, and Take My Wife Please. And so I was kind of inspired by that when I was really young, probably too young to even be watching that. But growing up and then getting into my own sense of humor, a lot of it actually, I grew up in a black neighborhood, so a lot of it was a lot of black comedians, like Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, and then I just go up into a lot of Hispanic comedians. But the Hispanic comedians that I watched, they normally didn't do regular stand-up. They were doing one-man shows, like John Leguizamo. I don't know if you ever saw Freak.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Show, yeah, amazing. So, but even, there's comedians out there that I love, like Mitch Hedberg. Unfortunately, passed away, and a lot who recently passed away. So I'm kind of everywhere with it. I love Felipe Esparza. I think he's great.
Yeah, I grew up on the same type of comedy. I grew up on Martin Lawrence, Robert Schimmel, Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay came out before I was born, but he's a huge inspiration for me. Just for the fact that he was the first comedian, like Chink and Spick, really break that dirty barrier. Any comedian could talk about his dick, but he really just like one of the comedians out there.
So you do the different types of stand-up. You do, you start talking about the news and observational type of comedy. You just said who your favorite, what comedians inspire you. Just for 3 or 4 months, like, what was your best moment doing stand-up? Like, do you have a certain set you did? And what is the worst set you've done where you feel like shit, and like, I feel like quitting or whatever, or you felt horrible about yourself?
All right. The worst, I can answer that immediately, was, it wasn't my third performance. It was, my third performance. I went up there, and I started it with my Lady Gaga joke, and that knocked them pretty well, but then, like, I got stiff, and then once I got stiff, I forgot everything I was going to say, and then I just went into, like, whatever jokes I can remember. It was, like, 2 other jokes, and I was up there for, like, 2.5 minutes. That was pretty bad, and then recently I just paused at the Comedy Cabaret, my first time ever pausing on stage. That was, like, terrifying afterwards, kind of, like, thinking, that sucked, so...
And what was do you have any favorite moments, like your top favorite moment, even though you only been doing it for a few months, where you felt like really good after stage, like, oh, you feel, like lively and all that stuff?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago at the Cabaret, there was a nice, decent crowd, probably like 40 people there, and I had everybody cracking up, and I guess right now that was, the pinnacle of my comedy career.
Yeah, I have like 3, but the first one that happened was my second time at Helium back in last November. There was 7 or 8 people, because it was 2 days before Thanksgiving, and they were all comedians. And I did a Michael Richards impression, not like of him doing the the nigger rant, of him, and it got so quiet, I heard like the wait staff in the back and how much the total of the tab was and the tip and everything. And the whole audience stared at me, and I swear to you, my head got hot. I put my hand in my head and covered the microphone and said, I'm so embarrassed, guys. I'm sorry. I froze up there like a deer in the headlights. That's number 1.
Oh, man.
Number 2 was at Taboo, which is a gay, it's before you started comedy, at a gay bar, which is, they did that so if you don't make it on a Helium, you can go there. And the host of the show, I was doing these gay jokes, and they're pretty vicious. And it was a gay audience, but they were laughing at it. And the host of the show really pissed me off. In the middle of my set, he ran up and said, calm down, calm down. And it really pissed me off. Like, my face was red. I was just angry. So I did 2 minutes and bailed, and I went home feeling like shit. I got home like 1 o'clock in the morning. I waited all night. They put me on dead last. And the third one was at the Final Score Sports Bar about 2 months ago. Nobody paid attention to me. Like, even the comedians had their back turned to me. Everybody was just eating, watching a game. And on top of that, I forgot my new jokes. And I just froze up there, and I just felt like shit. And then a comedian said, good job to me, and that pissed me off more. I was like, good job. Were you watching the same set? I pretty much just bombed. So that was, like, the top 3, I would say, so far of doing this for a year, where I was like, fuck, man, just awful. You don't have bad nights, but just real bad nights.
Yeah, there was one night, actually, I forgot to mention, where I just did all new jokes, and the worst part was that they all sucked. So I went up there and I said all the jokes, and none of them got laughed. And, maybe I shouldn't write anything new ever again.
Well, yeah, but, you could tell when it's really bad where you judge yourself. Like, those 3 top moments I've had where I'd explained to you, I thought to myself, every time somebody said you're funny, they're lying. Like, it's all a lie. Like, that's how bad I felt myself. I said I should give up. That's how bad I was feeling, like shit. Just self-loathing,
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, we all go through that. I guess, like it's made up something. I don't know. I hate to say it like that, make it a stereotype, but there's something there. I don't know.
One of the best moments I had was the first night I did comedy, only because I finally did it, and it was at Helium. There was like 50, 60 people in the audience. And I brought my index card on stage. It'd only give you 2.5 minutes, and I brought my index card on stage. But the fact that, like, I was just finally doing it, and I felt like I was just going to hold the microphone, but I decided to walk around with it, and I was such an amateur. Every joke I thought was funny, and I actually did okay, and I couldn't even put the mic back in the mic stand. But afterwards, like, when I got outside of the club, it was, like, beautiful outside, and I felt so fucking good. I was like, yes, I finally did it, and I got real pumped up. So that was probably my favorite so far of doing it, was my first time on stage.
Oh, okay.
Like, it felt like I actually lost my virginity to a hot chick, even though I was still awful at it. Like, I fucked like a hot chick, but I just premature ejaculated way too early.
Yeah, no, I know your pain. My first time, I felt the same way. Like, I guess it's like, you know, when you pop your cherry, you'll never get that. It's like, you know, the first time you smoke some weed or something, like, you'll never get that feeling again, no matter how much weed you smoke. Yeah. Well, I mean, not that I, I'm not trying to go up in that direction, but, I'm trying to make a point. So, you get it. More power to you.
Yeah. So. Like I brought up I'm going to bring up a topic. I want to talk about I'm going to ask everybody this, but it's not a comedian question. It's more of a mental question. And basically, what that question is I'm a really cynical guy, and maybe I don't know if it's a comedian thing, but I'm a really cynical guy. Like I've been used a lot. Like people only really become my friends like when they need something or if they have nobody else. And I want to ask you, like not you as a comedian, but just you as a person. Is there a such thing as a person who's like is a friend? Like, they don't want nothing from you. They just want to be your friend. They just want your company. They don't want nothing from you. Everybody just, like, kind of needs somebody. Like, I hang out with one guy because he has a car. I hang out with this other guy because he hooks up with chicks. I hang out with this other guy because I feel sorry for him. Like, is there such thing as a friend out there? Or am I just meeting, like, the worst people you can be friends with?
See, I'm the worst person to ask that question, because I'm the one who asks that question. I'm going through, you get older and, your friends drop off the radar, and then you kind of question that, like, why did they stop talking to me, or, I don't know. But I hear you. It's a big question mark to me as well. So, unfortunately, I do not have an answer.
Yeah, see, I consider myself a good friend in the sense, like, I don't use people, but, like, when I was a kid, I thought I was a cool kid because everyone wanted to hang out with me. But it turns out people only wanted to hang out with me because I had, like, a big video game collection. So you don't realize that at a young age. Then when I got older, all the people I became friends with had no other friends. Once I got other friends, they ditched me. And, like, right now, I would say I really don't have, like, hardly any friends. Like, I know a lot of comedian guys, but it's not that's like knowing people at your work. Like, that's not actually friends. People are like, okay, I know this guy. Hey, how you doing? How'd you do the show? Good. It's like small talk shit. But I was just thinking to myself, like, am I thinking the French too seriously? Like, should I just, like, use people and just do what they do, or should I continue to just be a good friend and get fucked over?
Well, I mean, if you feel like you're being a good friend and getting fucked over, then, then obviously don't be a good friend. But I mean, I want to believe that there's genuine people out there. I feel like I try to be one as much as I can. And, I don't feel like, like I like to use people, but I know that, with past friendships that I felt like people have used me for certain things, so, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah. So you said earlier you grew up in a black neighborhood. I also grew up in a black neighborhood. I grew up in a non-black family. And I don't really think it had a grasp on my childhood. Like, I never acted any differently. I got my ass kicked a lot. But I never, like, acted, like, black, or I never acted urban, or anything like that. By you growing up in a black neighborhood, has that affected your childhood in a negative or positive way, or just in a regular childhood, not affecting the black part of it?
Well, I mean, although I did grow up in a black neighborhood, my group of friends, were all mixed. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans and blacks, and of course, wherever you grow up, that's going to affect that's going to make you the person who you are, or whatever. But you pick up on everything. Like, yeah, I moved to Northeast Philadelphia at the age of 15. I had to lose all my friends immediately from New York. Not necessarily lose them, but not see them for a long time. And then make friends with these people that grew up in the burbs, and we all had different mind states, like, I'm used to city life, fast living, and, and I wasn't used to, trees, squirrels, to these little things you got used to first before you get used to, the way people are and the way people think. When I first moved from Brooklyn, I wasn't used to seeing so many white people, all in one spot. So went into Philadelphia, go like a Kmart, and like I felt like it was like the KKK Mart or something. Like, like it was too much for me. I always thought it was just like, I was just like going to be a target. But then slowly, a lot of white people, and you know, and then you know that, you know, things aren't like that. But it is kind of weird because, you know, when you make friends with people of different races, that's when you find out, like, that there's a lot of racism out there. Like, where I grew up at, like, it was such a melting pot that no one ever referred to anyone else as, like, a racial term. No one ever said behind their back, you know, like, this motherfucking stick or whatever. Like, no one ever said that. You know what I mean? And in Philadelphia, I noticed the way it was like, it was kind of segregated. I mean, kind of like that, but, like, I went to George Washington High School, and, like, the white people would sit with the white people, black people would sit with the black people, Indians and Asians. It was kind of weird to feel like that. So, yeah, there's definitely two different mentalities, you know.
Yeah, there's one, living in Northeast, there's one thing that I had to get used to, and that was interracial dating. And to be honest with you, I'm still not used to it. I'm trying to get a petition. I'm trying to get a petition signed, but unfortunately, people won't sign it.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, that sounds like a good idea, but my past two relationships have both been interracial, so. Yeah,
I mean, when I say interracial, I mean white chicks and black guys, that kind of interracial. I'm trying to get that stopped.
Just singling that group out.
Yeah.
All right, well then, hey man, good luck with that petition.
See, the thing is, I'm mixed with Spanish and white, like I said, Cuban and Polish, and that made me feel like shit because, like you said, people usually stick to their own kind. Like in college, you see all the Asian kids sitting together, you know, it's blacks sitting together, not whites. Not to say everyone's racist, but, you know, everyone has their groups. And I'm mixed, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to do that. Like, I could go to a Puerto Rican Day parade, or I could go out for St. Patty's Day, but it's like I don't belong there. It's like I'm mixed, which means I'm an other. It's like I have to start my own thing. It's like I feel like I don't belong to any race. That's why I don't think of myself as anything. And when people just think I'm Puerto Rican, and when I was a kid, and there was a Puerto Rican kid that found out I wasn't Puerto Rican, he would stop talking to me. Like the next day, like when he found out I was Cuban, he was just like, oh, you're Cuban. But when I was mixed with white, that was like a deal breaker. So like the next day, I'd be like, hey, what's up, Ricky? And he would look at me like, fuck you. Like, you're not one of my people, you know? Yeah. So I don't belong, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. I get that vibe around, like, just North Philadelphia. I don't know. There's, like, so much tension out here when it comes to that. Maybe I'm creating it just by talking about it. I don't know. But, I feel like it's out here. That's definitely, like, something I picked up from, you know, moving from New York to Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, I actually think that it's interesting because Philadelphia is a big comedy city when you think about it. It's not, we don't have great comedy clubs like New York does, but Howard Stern, for example, and, you know, Opie and Anthony and comedy shows like that, they have had their biggest markets here in Philly. So for some reason, Philadelphia is a great city for comedy. And it's kind of like it's segregated when it comes to comedy too, because in Northeast it's real laid back. Like I said, in Northeast you won't get any exposure or anything, but you can get, it's fair. Like you get right on stage, they put you right on. You go in early, late, middle, whatever you want, as long as you get there early. And I've said the most vicious, racist shit in Northeast, and I've said the vicious, racist shit in Center City. And the difference is Northeast, they just groan like, oh, and they don't give a fuck. But in Center City, like they're hipsters and they really don't. You have to do. I feel like in Center City, if you go to Helium or Raven Lounge or whatever, if you do racial, you're really sensitive about it. Like I can't say something like spick or kike or anything like that. The only time they accept that is if a black comedian says nigger, because they're like, oh. But I have said kike on stage at the Raven Lounge, and that was my favorite moment there because I got booed by half the crowd. And when I got booed, I felt like this really good energy inside. Like I was just like laughing at myself. Like, this is fucking great. Like that's my role as a comedian. Like I want to be like, you know, they got like bad guy wrestlers. Like his role is to be the bad guy. That's how I think of myself as a comedian. Like I want to be the bad guy comedian. Like I want to be booed and hated. But it backfires because people end up, you know, comedians go. Like I said kike at the Northeast Cabaret.
Rich Voss. I like Rich Voss. He's got a lot of that same humor.
Yeah, and like
whatever the fuck he wants, and nowadays people just accept it.
Yeah, that's Jewish though. So when he says kike, it's kind of like him saying nigga as a black man. But but I said kike at Cabaret, and after my set, I had people shaking my hand like, good job, and I'm like, really? Like I just said the most vicious Jewish, anti-Semitic jokes, and people like that. So I think there's definitely a difference in the area of comedy in Philadelphia as well. You go to Center City, you know, you perform in front of more people, but you have to wait till 1 o'clock in the morning and all that shit. But if you go to Northeast, you get on early. But you might perform in front of 5 people, like we did at the Ashburner 2 nights ago.
Yeah, that was amazing. Incredible.
It's always good though, like when you I'm trying to let you talk too, but I'm on speakerphone, so it's kind of hard to tell when you're gonna. Yeah, the Ashburn, it turned out better because I was kind of bummed out because when I know when I'm gonna feel I'm gonna bomb, I get bummed out. Like, oh, there's only 5 people here. They're all comedians, you know, like fuck. But when I got on stage, like I felt really good about it. Like, not just my set, but just like the energy. I realized it's not that bad, you know. Like, even though there's only 5 or 6 audience members, I'm like, it's pretty good. It was pretty good. Like, it turned out better, you know, than I thought.
Yeah. Well, the first time they put on that show, you know, over where I was sitting, where we were sitting, it was just like 4 Grand Cougars there, and that was the audience. So, you know, at least we had, you know, another 4 or 5 extra people. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's the host of the show, Erin. I've met her before. She's nice, but she tried to stretch it out because there was only 7 between me and you and the other people, and she tried to do like 4 minutes between each comedian. But yeah, I was happy the way it turned out. Like, when I got on stage, I was already bummed out. Like, fuck. That's why I said fuck it in the beginning. I was like, I'm gonna bomb, just fuck it. And yeah, I think we all ended up doing really good. It was like.
Yeah, we did. Everyone had they all built their ratings.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. I think cabaret is a good place to start because, like I said, that stage is so uncomfortable. Like, if you can go to that stage at least 5 or 10 times and put up with that fucking light and that small room and how dark it is, how depressing it is, if you can put up with that as long as you can, if you get on stage at Helium, Raven Lounge, Ashburner, it's nothing, man. It's like I'm comfortable. It's like I feel, you know, final score is fine, but that cabaret, I've been there more than anybody. As far as, like, last year I was there every week but 5 times, and still to this day I get nervous before I go on stage. Like, more, I feel like I'm starting over every time I go there. Like, I'm so fucking nervous going up there, you know?
Yeah. Well, the Ashburn, let's finish up the Ashburn. There's one thing I want to say about it before we move away from the Ashburn. Kentel last night was amazing. And at one point, he brought me to tears, and that doesn't happen often, so I just wanted to talk about that.
Well,
I don't remember what joke it was, and it wasn't even the fact that, like, it wasn't like the joke was the best joke I ever heard in my life, but he just couldn't keep himself together when he was telling the joke, and that made me just, you know, like, burst into tears. Like, I just couldn't stop laughing. So,
yeah,
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Like, that's another thing I like about the cabaret is him and Roger Weaver run it. That's the big tall guy, and they're really nice. Like, they've been doing it for like 20, 30 years, and even if you make fun of them, even people make fun of them and say, oh, they haven't made it, whatever. They're like really professional comedians. They're really funny, and they're clean, which I admire, and they can kill. But yeah, I mean, that guy is a fucking joke machine. Like, he's, I think, Jay Leno. But I admire. Like, he's kind of like, I read a lot of jokes too, and that's why I bring my index card on stage. But yeah, that guy's a joke machine, man. He fucking spits out stuff. Like, even though he goes to his index card, when we saw his set on Thursday, if you realize he was closing his eyes during the whole set because he had so many jokes flowing. Like, you know, like kind of like having.
It's funny you mention that because that was the same thing I was thinking when he had his eyes closed. I was like imagining just like, you know, him looking at all of his jokes and just. It looked like there was a lot going on in his head right then and there because he went through like a whole like 3 or 4 jokes with his eyes closed.
I thought he was having like a brain aneurysm on stage. I thought he was gonna like pass out. I was like, what the? I was like, is he okay or something? But yeah, I mean, one-liner comedians, especially like Mitch Hedberg, is also a comedian I admire. And that guy, I mean, think about it. If you do an hour set and you do one-liner jokes, think about it. That's hundreds of jokes. I mean, that's a lot. That's why he also brings a notebook on stage, but. That's a lot of, you know, fucking jokes to, you know, have running around in your head. You know, it's a crazy process because I like comedians who do bits too, but you have to understand that some comedians are only good at doing bits, like 5-minute bits or 10-minute bits. There's very few guys. Like Artie Lang is a great storyteller. The guy that almost killed himself, and he can tell you a 10-minute story and you'll be cracking up, and he's so interesting. But there's also, I think it's better as a new comedian. To just do what me and you are doing. It's just make your jokes as short as possible. And then when you get better, then you can, you know, maybe stretch them out. But like, I don't do stories that much on stage because I'm like, I see comedians that, you know, another thing I realized from doing open mics is you learn from other comedians because before I had an advantage because I started writing before I got into stand-up. And I would see comedians with these long setup jokes. And if you do a long setup joke, your punchline has to be strong, you know? And they wouldn't have any punchline. You know, they'd be like, oh, no, and then nobody would laugh, and you know, they lost the crowd. But I think it's better just to do what we're doing. Just do really short, setup punchline jokes, and just, you know, just do the best you can. And just rapid fast, just fucking knock the audience out. You know, keep them interested. I think that's the best way to go in these open mics.
Definitely. That's why, I mean, I like to go through, like, sometimes I go through, like, 12 jokes within, you know, the 4 or 5 minutes that we get. And, you know, it's just like a quick setup, punch, quick setup, punch, quick setup, maybe drag out a little punch, you know, real quick. You know, hit them with as many laughs as they can get.
Yeah, and if you enter a comedy contest, I think that's the best strategy to go to. Just to do just many jokes as you can. Just keep. My last set at Helium was in June, and that's another great moment I had in comedy because there was 90, 100 people there, and it wasn't Philly's Funniest. It was just a regular open mic. I had no clue that place would fill up like that, and I did about maybe 8 jokes in 2.5 minutes. I just kept going boom, 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 and if you can, like the Ashburner was good for me because one joke I did really old, and that's another thing. If you could do one joke that really brings the house down, like in the beginning of your set, where you did your press 1, press 2 joke, one of my favorite jokes you do, that joke really killed. And when you get like that one big laugh, like it makes it all worth it, you know, like that fucking, you know, that response you get, like it makes you inside, it's just like, this is awesome, you know.
Yeah, I love that joke, man. That's actually, as soon as it hit me, I just knew I had like something with it, and I just had to create something out of it. It was, I had called Comcast, and it was about paying the bill. And of course, Comcast is such a conglomerate corporation, and everything's so fucked up, so you can never get in touch with any. It's just all these machines to the point where you just have to hang up, and that's how they get you. There's no way you're going to stay on there for like another 3 hours pressing all these buttons to get to, you know, a live human being.
Yeah, I love jokes that have stories behind it, like that one. Just to pause for a second, I just want to say, just in case he's listening to this, I just want to say Matt Reese is a douchebag. Just in case he's listening to this. Well, he's probably not, but yeah, Matt Reese is he's weird because he always directs his sets towards me, and I don't know why. He's been doing that since he started. Like he looks at me with every joke with his weird fucking blue eyes, and he just like makes faces at me the whole time he's on stage. And I don't know if he does that to make himself comfortable or just to fuck with me. I think he just thinks it's funny to fuck with me. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Matt's cool with me, man. I like Matt. I mean, you know, I thought you guys were just joking around.
Yeah, we are joking around.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not real bad blood. I said, I'm just...
I feel like I'm a referee now or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring you into the, on my side.
Like I'm Mario, you know? I'm like your little Mac.
Yeah, so, like, what is your joke writing process? Like, mine right now has been, like, what I do is I'm lazy. I can't get up to write, so I put any thought I have in my cell phone, like, as notes, and then I wait till I got about 10 or 12 notes, and then I just write them down, like, at once, you know? So what do you actually just sit down at a desk and just think of jokes and write? Do you do it that way, or do you just, how do you write your jokes?
Well, you know, I think for every comedian, it's always, you know, it's either you're sitting down and you're trying to write something, or it just hits you. You know, I think those are the only options we have. And with that, it's like some of your better stuff, I believe, comes when it hits you, you know. But you can get some good stuff if you just do some research. Like, I used to just sit around and just think about stuff, you know, and not look at anything. And then, you know, I just started looking at, like, headlines and stuff like that, and, you know, just looking at what's going on in the news and look at the hot topics, because you got to think of, like, if you're going to tell jokes to a mass audience and you want these jokes to work in front of different crowds, you know, you got to talk about things that, you know, the majority of people know about, you know, they see about or hear about in the news or on TV or their favorite, you know, reality show or song on the radio. So...
Right. Well, there's a bunch of ways to do it. I mean, I like recording the cabaret just because that's where I usually do my new material. And number two, it's just, like I said, it's just a small room. It's just great. Like, I like to put the clips on my podcast and everything. It's just a great place to record. And I see, the thing is with me is I'm a fast talker, as you can tell. But that's the one thing I tell myself every time I go on stage is don't talk fast. Like, just take your time, talk slow. But for some reason, every time I get to the cabaret, I'm so nervous on that stage, I just barrel through my stuff. Like, I'll time myself at home and go, okay, this is a 6-minute set. They give you 5 minutes. I got plenty. And then when I tape record myself and I put it on my computer, it says, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. I'm like, what? Like, I just, and I realize I'm talking so because I'm just...
It's not just you. It's not just you, because I feel the same way. I can practice it at home or whatever and tell myself at home, and I'll get, 6 minutes. And then as soon as I get on stage, I'm like the Micro Machine guy, done. Like, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, tape recording helps yourself, but another thing is, I just tape record myself. I don't listen to my sets, but when I do the brutal racial humor jokes, which I have, those are the best to record myself, because I love the reaction I get. I love just listening to that over and over, and I'm proud of myself. That's how a sick fuck I am. Like, that's so awesome. I just said porch monkey in front of 30 people, and that's a good feeling.
Well, man, it works for you. It definitely does, because I love watching the sets, man. You crack me up every time. So, keep sticking with that raunchy, borderline kind of offensive humor, man. It definitely works for you, and he's going to, great places with that.
No, it's not actually, because the thing is, they tell you to keep it clean. Good thing you brought up the whole raunchy thing. That's the kind of comedian I want to be. But the thing is, they tell you to start clean first. And before I got into comedy, I used to listen to interviews, and they said, keep it clean. That's what they tell you. Keep it clean. Managers don't want to, hire some guy, is going to say stuff like that. And I've ignored it for some reason. Because like I said, if I can get to New York someday and live there or something, and get to the real open mic so you can get work, then it's like, okay, I'll be clean. But the fact that I know it's Philly, and it's like I'm not going to probably get any work from here, not that if you do get work, it's going to get you anywhere. I just say, fuck it. I'm just going to say what I want. Stage, I drop the C-bomb a lot, hunt pretty much every set. The comedians love it. Like, comedians understand what it's like to take a risk, but club managers don't like that. I did two guest spots at the Cabaret. My second one, I did the, I haven't heard, but it's a brutal joke where I said, it's about kikes. I say the word kike in it. It's really brutal. And
can you give it to me now, or you'd rather not?
Yeah, I have it. It's pretty much his, pretty much what it is I say, I was watching the movie Schindler's List, and I haven't seen that movie since high school, and what I realized from watching that is the women in that movie have some of the most disgusting, saggy titties I've ever seen. If I was Hitler, just on that, I still would throw those kikes in the fucking oven.
Oh, man.
And it's so, and the thing is, I'll put it in the podcast, when you listen to this podcast and I put the interview on, I'll put it in there for you so you can hear the reaction. But the crazy thing about that story is I did that at a cabaret first, and Pat O'Donnell, the host you met last week, he approached me afterwards and said, "You did a really good job." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "From that show?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen," he's like, "You're really," he said, if you're more cleaner, you get more work from this. He goes, "But you're really good at the dirty stuff." He's like, "That's your shit." And he said, "I'll get you some work." And he never followed through on that. But still, the fact that a professional comedian pulled me aside and said, "I'll get you some work," it's like, that's a good feeling. But I did it at a guest spot, and the club manager was not happy with it. So I asked her for some feedback, and she said, on stage, you're not supposed to actually say what you mean. You're supposed to just, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I mean, I take risks like that, but I always do my raunchiest stuff at cabaret. Like I said with the Ashburner, Scott Terry was like, just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me that.
And that's the kind of reputation I have. Like, people just know. It's like, well, just take it down a notch. And I guess I think that's a compliment. It's like, I think that's
great.
I think it's funny.
Great.
All right, so I think we should wrap this up. This was a great interview. We've been on the phone for 33 minutes. Okay. And I thought the interview would last like 10 minutes because I don't know. I never interviewed anybody, but it's a nice long interview and it's about comedy, so people should listen to it. I would plug your stuff, but no one's going to. All the people who are going to listen to this is the people we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Matt Reese is going to be the you had on JoshCast, or whoever else listens to this. All right, so the great Darren Martinez, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being a fan. Look forward.
Hey, man, thank you. Listen, if you call me again for anything else, if I wasn't so occupied right now with so many people in the background, I'd probably have more life.
I had my TV on. It's fine, like I said. I mean, it's probably going to be in the back anyway. Yeah, so like I said, I'll probably hit you up like maybe once a month. I'll call you because, like I said, believe it or not, there's not a lot of people in line right now going, "Put me on your show." So it's like I'll probably maybe once in a while when I plan more stuff. I don't plan this out, which is I think is good because a comedian that plans his out and his show isn't about comedy, but he does a psychology show, and it's really good. But yeah, I think it's best just to do it like this, like just not plan it out, just fucking gun it, and we do this like once in a while.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, so thanks for doing the show. Looking forward to seeing you. And thanks.
All right, yeah, definitely. And before we go,
Yeah.
I want to promote one thing, if I could.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Myself.
Wait, let me get this.
Yep.
Darren Martinez on Facebook.
Yep, or you can type me into YouTube and look at some videos. There's some stuff I did back in the day, just a little acting and a couple little, crazy, stupid videos, playing different characters.
Yeah, and what's the plug for that?
Well, actually, there's one you can go to. It's youtube.com/Darren Mart, DARINMART.
All right.
So, other than that, I'll be up on Facebook, and I'm available for anything and everything.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It was great.
All right, thank you.
Get ready.
You're listening to JoshCast.
Starring